I'm pretty hungry right now, so I just thought I'd get up and get some food. It's pretty late in a sense. It's kind of busy out tonight compared to what it usually is. One thing that I've always dealt with in my life, honestly, I've never really been the first pick. I was in elementary school, throughout high school, and then honestly beyond high school, I'd say I had a friend group and we were pretty close. I'm not gonna lie. It was like little mini groups within that group throughout my childhood, and I'd say like my life. And I don't know if that deep down inside has built a sense of like want or longing. I've had best friends is what I would say for the most part. I don't ever really think I would be considered their best friend whenever I look back on it. It's pretty sad to think about, I'm not gonna lie. I do have one best friend that I would like to truly say I am his best friend, and I'm blessed to say that. I never really had a friend group where it felt like they wanted me there, if that made sense. Now I'm obviously better because I'm grown, I have a wife, I have Jesus Christ. Something that's always been very unfortunate, I feel like. I've always looked for that type of sense of belonging in communities, I've always wanted to be in a community. Like for me, it was gaming. In a way, that was how I would get my validation. I was really good at video games, I'm not gonna lie. I would then be their first choice if we were playing a video game because that's what I was really, really good at. Friends and other people, they would want to pick me. They'd want me to be on their crew. But when it came to like real world things, I was not number one. I wasn't their best friend. I don't think it was necessarily anything on my part. I do talk a lot, and when I was younger, I definitely was a squeaker because of my voice. I wasn't like one of those weird kids. I was very respectful, well-mannered, I was funny. So YouTube always appealed to me when I was younger because it was like, wow, you could build this sense of community that you built. You know what I mean? Like you can't get that taken away from you. Like someone else can't say that's theirs or anything like that, if that makes sense. I would have my own community, and I could have other people that wanted me for me, that were attracted to my content for me. I'm obviously thousands of miles away from everyone I know and love, and I'm here all by myself. Definitely a struggle, and it's hard. I know that God's got me, and all I can do is really just pray every day. I've just always wanted that sense of friendship, that brotherhood, like I would call them my best friends, but I don't think they would call me their best friend. And unfortunately, there's really nothing I can do about that. I wish it wasn't like that, but it is. I can positively say that I do have one best friend that I would say is my best friend, and that is really like my brother. And I guess in a way, I thought the military could provide that. Not to replace the friends that I already have back at home. The military, like the friendship that you make, at least from my experience, it's so artificial in a way. It's like trauma bonding. I guess that's just what it is. At the end of the story, pretty much, I never really had best friends that would consider me their best friend. I do have one that I can say I am their best friend, and that's a blessing. Everyone that I've always been friends with, just never been their first choice for anything. Sports, event, friendships, it is what it is, but I can say that I do feel recognition with God, even though at times I don't feel it. I just have to know that I am recognized by God. And in the end, that's all that matters. I don't have nobody that checks up on me, in all honesty. I check up on them. If I stop texting them, I wouldn't get a text or a call back in who knows how long. And I know this because I've tested it. Yeah, it's sad. And I get it, people go through things, but I've been through a lot too. And I still am there for those people. I've always been dependable for others, but I feel like I'm not someone that they would come to depend on out of friends. They'd go to another friend, XYZ. Even though I've proven myself to be dependable many times over, but if you feel people don't want you, they overlook you, you just feel overshadowed, just know that God does see you. I can definitely look back now from when I was young that God's always been calling me. He's always had me, but that's just life, I guess. That's just how people are. I'm a very selfless person. Obviously, I can be selfish at times, which I wish I wasn't. People are just inherently selfish, and some people are actively selfish. There's nothing I can do about that but pray and just move on.